All your life, you've been told that you are a certain someone. You have beliefs about yourself, whether they're positive or negative, and you believe that that is you. Well, I'm here to tell you that you can be so much more than those things that you believe about yourself right now. Growing up, we get a lot of feedback from people around us. We are told that we are a certain way. For example, you're told that you're very loud and outgoing, and then you start to believe that and you start to act in that manner. This is how such phrases, such attributes become part of our identity. This can also be something else. This can also be a diagnosis. For example, you get taught that you have ADHD and you start to believe it and you start to adopt a set of limiting beliefs that comes with that diagnosis. For example, that you just can't focus, that you just can't do anything right, and that you're just limited by this disorder that you have. Whatever it may be, we all have these things that are limiting us right now. We're all inside of a box that society has placed us in. And the problem with that box is that it's illusory. Okay, it might be true to some degree that if you have ADHD, it's hard for you to focus, but that does not mean that it has to limit you in such a way as it does right now. The problem with those phrases, if they're repeated over and over again, we start to believe them so much that they become our actual boundaries, that we feel that we just can't escape these boxes anymore. You cannot blame the people around you, and you also cannot blame yourself, because by putting labels on things, by putting things into boxes, we make sense of the world. This is how we deal with the chaos that this world is. We try to identify certain patterns, and we try to put words and names onto things, and this is just how we make sense of the world. But in order for you to truly become an exceptional person, you have to break out of that box. I think every single person that has achieved exceptional things in this world was at that point where they had to challenge the beliefs that have been put onto them their whole lives. Take David Goggins as an example. He was told that he was a loser, that he had ADHD, that he wasn't intelligent enough, and sooner or later, he had to challenge these beliefs that he was conditioned with, And that was the only way for him to outgrow this box, to grow beyond what he believed to be. The price you're paying right now by being in this box is that you limit yourself, that you limit potential versions of you that could come to existence, but you're hindering them from starting to exist because you keep identifying with this old version of yourself, with this version of yourself that you have been taught to believe is you. But honey, that is not you. It's time to break out of this box right now. Every day that goes by where you let other people's limitations rule your life and rule your behavior is a wasted day on this earth. No one was socialized in a way where they were told, oh my God, you're gonna be a millionaire. You will find the cure to whatever disease and help millions of people survive. No one was socialized that way. Instead, these people saw the box they were put in and outgrew that box. They noticed that the limitations were not real and that they could be challenged. And this is what I want you to take from this video. Napoleon Hill once said, whatever the mind can believe and conceive, it can achieve. And conversely, if you don't believe that you can achieve certain things, you won't achieve them. And this is exactly what limits you right now. If you keep listening to those limiting beliefs, you won't be able to achieve your innermost goals. This will keep you from fulfilling your life's purpose. And here comes the hard part. You have to start rooting for yourself when nobody else roots for you. You have to become your biggest supporter right now. Because what happens when you challenge those beliefs and those limitations that you've believed in for so long is that people around you will start to notice. They will see, okay, this person is trying to be more than they were yesterday. And some people might react in a positive way and say, you go, I think your potential is far bigger than what you're doing right now. Go ahead, keep going. But others, and I'm sure that that's going to happen because it's just the way human beings are built, others are going to be scared of that. They're going to see their own limiting beliefs challenged by you getting out of your box, okay? So you have to start rooting for yourself, and you have to actively redefine your beliefs about yourself, okay? You must start setting goals and believe that you can achieve them. Believe that you can achieve them despite not having any evidence yet. Believe that you can achieve them because you know that those limits are not real. And what it takes for you in that phase where you're going to be misunderstood, where you're going to be labeled as a dreamer and as delusional, whatever, you have to stay motivated, driven, and resilient. And even in the face of aversion, in the face of loneliness, you'll still have to persist. And how do you do this? How do you believe in yourself when nobody else does? How do you challenge those limiting beliefs? It's by developing a growth mindset. See, what I told you here with the box that we're all placed in, it's basically a fixed mindset. And I'd say like 90% of people have this fixed mindset. And it basically is that, or it means that you're limited by birth. Your genetics predispose you to a certain life. You're limited concerning your intelligence, your talents, your personality, and you just can't escape those limitations. This is what we believe. And what the growth mindset says, in contrast to the fixed mindset, is that through dedication, through drive, through motivation and resilience, you can change these natural limits that you sure have, okay? I'm not saying that there are not more intelligent and less intelligent people on this earth. It's a normal distribution. Intelligence is normally distributed, okay? So there will be people who are just naturally smarter than you. Shit, well, that's bad. This person could just spend half an hour doing something while I need 2 hours to do the same thing. Yeah, that might be true, and that might be upsetting, and that might lead you to just not want to try at all. But this is exactly the mistake in thinking, not trying at all because others are better anyways, because others start from a different starting point anyways. No, we as human beings, we never actually reach our full potential. There's this military rule, it's called the 40% rule. And it basically says that whenever your mind wants to give up, your body can still keep going, You're most of the time when you want to give up and when your mind says, I can't do it anymore, you're just at 40%. And this does not just apply to physical hardships. This also applies to hardships concerning the mind. We can be so much more. But by giving up too soon in the process, we just keep ourselves from making that experience that we can actually be better than what we thought we could be, that we can actually reach 50, 60, 70%. We never experience that. And so it starts to become part of our identity that we're just not good enough. So in our culture, in our society, we give up way too soon. And this is because we see a challenge as something scary, as something that as soon as we're confronted with that challenge, we just take a step back. We say, okay, I went to the ceiling of my box, and I tried to push against it. It didn't work the first time, so I might as well just give up right now. And this is exactly the problem. What I want you to do after watching this video is not seeing challenges as a sort of game over sign. Challenges are a chance. Hardships are good. You build resilience from hardship. I mean, think of the hero stories that you've read as a child. Every hero, before he becomes truly heroic, before he can start building his legacy, he faces hardships. We don't want to read stories where everything goes smoothly. So why do we think that in our life story, everything has to go smoothly? Why are you giving up at the first sight of aversion? The real hero is who falls 20 times but gets up 21 times, okay? And the problem is you're never going to know when your 21st time is going to be, okay? And imagine how horrible it is if you keep lying on the ground the 20th time, and you'll never know that if you just had gotten up one more time, that it would have been the final one. So you have to keep standing up, even when challenges keep coming up, when you keep falling down, when you keep hitting that ceiling, and when you really start to believe that box is real, you still have to keep up. You still have to grind. You still have to get up over and over and over again. And even if your whole life is going to feel like a cycle of falling down and getting up again, falling down and getting up again, it's better than just lying on the ground all the time. There's nothing worse than lying on the ground all the time, because that is nothing but depression. Lying there, having no hope, having no belief in yourself. Embrace the effort, okay? So we are also socialized in a way where we think that effort is embarrassing. Trying hard is embarrassing. For example, you see this with people who try hard at school or at college. They are labeled as nerds and weird. But I'm going to tell you why that is. People are projecting constantly. And if someone else is trying harder than they are, giving it their all and failing, see, the thing is that most of us, we downplay our abilities because we're so scared that we're gonna fail despite having tried everything. Because that is true failure, when you try it the best you can and you still fail. That is directly connected to your self-worth, and it diminishes it. And because we're so scared of doing that, we judge others for doing that. So if someone really has the guts to give it their all and risk failure while giving it their all, we're judging that. But the thing is, you can truly fail, give it all you can, fall down and still get up and give it all again and give it all again and give it all again. This is exactly what I want you to do. What might sound like a treadmill right now, like a never-ending cycle, like Sisyphus trying to roll up that ball up the hill, is actually the secret to a purposeful life. It's not embarrassing to try hard. It's embarrassing to judge others for trying hard. Usain Bolt once said, "I trained 4 years to run 9 seconds." And the problem is, what we are doing and what is really self-destructive is we're judging the result, the 9 seconds, and we're not looking at the process that it took to become that way. There have been years of training, years of hardships, years of failure and effort in order to achieve that goal. So don't compare yourself to someone else's achievement when you have to see your whole journey, okay? It can actually be inspiring to look at like successful people's biographies and see how much they failed, how many times they had to get up over and over and over again. This is not stressed enough. We are always celebrating people for their achievements and putting them on a pedestal when actually they started exactly where we started. Yes, some people are born with certain privileges, but many successful people have started right where you started, by believing in themselves. So I want you to see challenges as a learning experience, okay? I want you to continue grinding and continue embracing the effort, and never, ever to keep laying on the ground. Because if you stay on the floor when you fall down, if you stay on the floor the 20th time, what happens? You're denying yourself of your own purpose. You know your true purpose, okay? You have been put on this earth for a reason, to fulfill a certain goal. And there is a voice and a drive within all of us. And some of us got really good at silencing it, at, shutting out that voice, shutting out that calling, and not listening to their innermost thoughts and feelings, not listening to their conscience, but going actively against that. But ultimately, this type of lifestyle just works for so long. If you deprive yourself of meaningful tasks, of thinking meaningful thoughts for too long, you start to get symptoms that are essentially unrecognizable from symptoms of depression, okay? So if you never achieve anything, if you never try anything, really, that leads to low self-esteem, because you don't have anything to be proud of. You don't have anything to look back on and say, oh, well, I tried really hard here and I succeeded. You judge yourself for that, subconsciously maybe, but you judge yourself for that because you know exactly that you could be more than you are right now. And ultimately, the older you get, the more times you fail to get up again, you'll start to get hopeless and feel stuck inside your box that is way too small for you. and you know that it's way too small for you, because deep inside, I think we all know that we're capable of so much more. We all have those 60% locked in our minds and know that we can actually reach those 100% if we really wanted to. So I want you to realize from this video that you have the power of choice. The power of choice to get up and continue every single day. Who do you choose to be? This is not defined by anyone but you. Let go of that conception that has been conditioned onto you. Let go of those limiting beliefs and start to challenge yourself. Start to ask yourself, who do I actually want to be? And this is not just in a grand scheme, general kind of level. Who do you want to be every day? This is the easiest way to think about it. You have a choice every single day to act out a version of yourself that you want to be, okay? So I want you to go about each day in a mindful manner and write down what you want to do, what the person that you want to be would do on that certain day, okay? Write out the qualities that you want to see in yourself and start planning your days according to those qualities. Even if in that process you'll face criticism and aversion by others, remember what I told you earlier. Most people are in the fixed mindset and they're not going to understand what you're doing. They're going to feel endangered by the way you're acting. But that doesn't change the fact that it is right for you. If you have to, be your own companion, okay? If you feel lonely, if you feel misunderstood by everyone else, be your own companion and be comfortable in your own company. Because this is also something you start noticing as well. When you start acting out the qualities that you actually want to have, you'll start to respect yourself more and you'll start to want to spend more time with yourself. You'll start to become less afraid of being alone and facing yourself because you're actually who you're supposed to be. Choose to get up over and over again and to thrive even in failure. Choose courage over comfort. Allow yourself to fail miserably. Fail despite giving it your all, and then still get up again. And if you start every day by asking yourself, how can I be more? More like the person I was truly meant to be, more like the person I was sent on this earth to be, your life will automatically start to be charged with more meaning. There will be a goal that you can follow every single day, which is being that more version of yourself, being that better version of yourself. Soon you'll see how small the box is that you were placed in by society and yourself, and how liberating it is to break free from those illusory limitations. Your potential is limitless, and I always want you to remember that. Thank you guys so much for watching this video. I hope it helped, and I see you guys in the next video. Bye.